Good morning, beautiful friends. I want to let you in on a secret this morning. Are you with me? Let me tell you the secret. Your will is not really what's in control of your future. Okay? So let's unpack that for a minute. Your will, your ability to will yourself to do something is not the driving force for your best future and for your success. But do you ever find yourself saying things like, oh, I wish I wanted it more. I wished, I had a stronger willpower, right? Willpower. That's like the word associated with dieting more than anything. Oh, I just didn't have enough willpower. And so I ate the donuts or the half dozen donuts. But guys, the secret is it's not about your will. So if it's not about your will, what is it about? It's about this single thing. It's a 5-letter word, and it's habit. It's about your habits. It's not about your willpower. It's about your habits. Your habits are actually the building block of the success in your life. And what is one of the biggest things that gets in the way of building a habit? This was a huge epiphany for me. So let me see if it's an epiphany for you. Okay, so let's use the example of getting up a little bit earlier in the morning and exercising. I know so many people that want to do that, but don't. And I am one of those people. I have started doing it more, but I still struggle with the getting up early and just feeling like, oh, I don't want to do it. Why are starting habits and starting to do a new thing so challenging? It's because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy. It takes the physical energy, of course, but even more so, it takes emotional and mental energy because we're having to try to convince ourselves every day, exercising is good for me. Even though I want to sleep now, I know long-term exercising is going to benefit me. So we're in this battle in our mind. And when you think about that battle and how it feels in the moment, we don't recognize that intense feeling of struggle will go away with time. Habits create ease in activity. Instead of having to take 100% of your mental energy to do something, when you do it over and over, the amount of effort lessens, doesn't it? Like it's still physically, you're still, with the example of exercising physically, you're still doing the thing, but it's the emotional and the mental energy of getting started that goes way down once a habit starts. So when you're in the beginning formation stages of a habit, guys, if you can recognize and remember that the effort is going to go down over time, that dramatically increases your perception of what the challenge of starting a habit, and you are far more likely to do it. Okay, now let's back up again to the beginning of this conversation about will versus habit. I want to use an example. I want to use an analogy. Many of you guys have probably heard, if you ever listen to advice and read books or listen to podcasts, webinars on investing, what is the single most important behavior that is going to solidify your success in investing? Learning is important. All of these other things are important. But it boils down to this one thing: being consistent. So if you ask the experts, you've got, for example, let's say stock markets. If you ask the experts and look at the research on people that routinely invest the same amount, the same time every month or the same time every week, and they do it always, it's become a habit. They always do it. And maybe they don't even think about it. Maybe because they've set it up so that it's automatic rather than them having to actually do anything. It's automatic, but they do it on a routine basis, no matter what the market is doing, they predictably outperform in their returns than the person that is just stepping back, waiting for the market to be perfect in their opinion, and then they dump that large sum of money in. Same amount of money, but done consistently over time, like a habit, it always leads to more success than trying to time it and trying to outsmart everything. So your behaviors are the same way. Do you see the correlation? Your behaviors are the same way. If you're sitting back and you're thinking to yourself, I'm gonna wait until these certain circumstances happen before I then put my time and energy into this thing that I want to do, or into this new habit, or into this new venture, into this relationship. If you treat it that way, once that moment comes, you're already gonna be behind the game. You are not going to have built the habit that actually is supporting what you want to do in that moment. So when that moment comes, you're unprepared. You're starting from ground zero. But if you can build the habit of whatever it is on small increments are so much more emotionally manageable and doable than thinking about doing this big grand thing all at once. So thinking about doing the small management, easily to manage over time habits, that's what really leads to success. So it's not about your willpower. It's just about establishing habits. And here's the cool thing. Your habit to establish for your next level up in your life doesn't have to be this 100% big change. It can just be super, super tiny. A tiny little change. Because when you course correct, even a half a degree, think about the flight path of an airplane from Los Angeles to New York City. If that flight plan starts off even a half a degree off, all of a sudden that plane is no longer in Los Angeles. They're in San Francisco. Because if you take that tiny little change and you amplify it over time, over distance, you get major changes. So use that example to harness yourself. You only need to do a 0.5% different today. But if you can do that 0.5% different every day for the rest of your life, imagine the changes that you can accomplish, and imagine the successes that you can accomplish. And when you gain success in the areas of your life that are truly meaningful and really matter to you, that, my friend, is what brings joy and increased happiness and a sense of satisfaction to your life. So my encouragement to you today is to think about what habit can you start that is going to be the most impactful for you today, that's going to hit you where you really care about the most. And how can you change your behaviors to turn into that habit just a little bit? You don't need to go through your kitchen and throw out every single thing in your kitchen that is not quote unquote perfectly healthy. You could do that. You don't have to. Maybe it's just getting rid of the Oreos today and committing to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to buy any more Oreos, and maybe I won't even buy any more cookies. That's it. That's all I'm doing today. Just that simple. But then as you build that habit of not eating those cookies, it becomes easier. It doesn't take as much effort, and you can take your next step and say, okay, well, now I'm going to funnel that extra energy and effort that I no longer have to use on resisting Oreos, and I'm going to funnel that into eating an extra serving of vegetables a day. That's all. That's all I'm going to do. Do you see the compounding effect of small habit changes, of small behaviors that turn into habits? It is so complementary to the strategy around investing. So I hope this was encouraging to you today. I would love to hear about what habits you are looking at starting, and what is that half a degree behavior change that you're gonna do today or this week that will help you in the long term reach your goal. Have a fantastic Friday. This is Dr. Sherry, and I'll see you in the next video.